I went to watch Avatar 2 The Way of Water at Odeon Cinemas. I went to watch it the first time round. I went to watch it on a small screen. I went to watch it second time again. And I went to watch it in Dolby 3D. I swear, I have never seen a film as good as this in terms of visual quality. The CGI was unparalleled. I've never seen anything like it. James Cameron pushed the boundaries of this film so far, I didn't know it was possible. There was a lot of debate online before the first trailer came out for Avatar The Way of Water, and they stated that it was going to be a flop. Why would you wait 13 years after the original release in 2009 to release a sequel, which is a lead up to many more sequels 2 years after another to be released? And honestly, the answer is how good the CGI of everything in this film has to offer. Because this film was in production since 2017 in terms of filming. It took 3 years to film, from 2017, 18, 19, and 20. And the last couple of years, it was literally just pure post-production. And you can tell how much effort James Cameron has put into this film. Honest to God, like I said, I've never seen anything like it. And you have to watch it in the best screen you could possibly watch it on. If you go into your local cinema and they have IMAX, watch it in IMAX. If your local cinema has a Dolby screen, watch it in Dolby. I don't care what it is, just don't watch it on a normal screen. You will not feel the things that you feel if you watch it on the best quality possible. Instead of going with a standard aspect ratio with the letterbox, it's literally vamping the entire screen so you can see every single pixel in all its glory. And I think that's what James Cameron intended. He wanted the audience to feel everything, and thankfully he didn't add any letterboxes. It's a full 16:9 aspect ratio with the whole screen being used up. And honestly, I didn't think at first when I watched it the story was good. That genuinely, I went to watch it and I thought, okay, this film is simple. I had to watch it a second time and it actually hit me how simple the storyline is and how effective it is for a global audience, and that's what makes this film work so well. So the first thing I want to talk about is the runtime. Now the runtime is just over 3 hours, and the thing is, when watching it, you feel it a bit the first time when you watch the film. You will feel it, but the thing is, I think what James Cameron intended to do is to show the audience the beauty of Pandora. The sea was probably the best thing I've seen. I've never seen water look so realistic, even though it's in a virtual world. It doesn't exist, and yet he did such a great job showing audiences of how well and how beautiful this new world is. So you've got Jake Sully, who's played by Sam Worthington, and you got Neytiri, who is played by Zoe Saldana, and they are part of the forest. They are people of the forest. They are avatars of the forest, and they are the Na'vi of the forest. So you have different types of Na'vi. You got Na'vi of the forest, Na'vi of the sea, and I'm sure that in Avatar 3, 4, 5, they're probably going to explore more different types of Na'vi as well. And in this film, it takes place 14 years after the original release of the 2009 Avatar, of course, because the film is and has been shot 13 years after the original film. And they ended up having 5 children, 3 which are their own, and 2 which are adopted. This film is like nothing which I've ever seen before. The CGI is beautiful. The runtime hits you a bit, but when you watch it for the second time, you take in and appreciate everything that you see on screen. And this film budget was about over 250 million. And it makes sense because they shot Avatar 2 and 3 at the exact same time for the 3 years of filming, from 2017 to 2020, obviously, or 2017, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, it's 2017, 20, 2020. So they shot both Avatar 2 and 3, which makes sense because the success of this film smashes box office records. Then part 3 is going to be in post-production, and they'll release it within the next 2 years. And I'm assuming once that post-production is completed, they'll be filming part 4 and 5 and maybe 6 as well. But I want to see more of this universe. I want to see more of what James Cameron has to offer. This film is a lot more about the exclusion of family. It's about the idea of fighting for your family, because the first film, don't forget, Avatar 1 was all about taking over a new planet. It was literally a colonization. It was humans trying to take over and outsource this new material that they found inside the Pandora, and they wanted to keep it all for themselves. But unfortunately for them, they didn't realize that one of their own, Jake Sully, was going to end up becoming an avatar and go inside the Pandora and be a part of the Na'vi and just end up fighting against them. And now he's living a happy life with his wife Neytiri, and they're children. And honestly, the thing with this film is that it's a very simple story of them being hunted down by Colonel Quaritch. And the thing is, I didn't know how Colonel Quaritch, played by Stephen Lang, was going to come back, as he died in the first film. He got ripped apart. Neytiri literally bowled him down, and it made sense. They used a certain device to uphold and uplink his memories from before he passed away, and used it to upload it to an avatar, and he becomes an avatar himself. Him and his goons, part of his group, and they are basically tasked with the goal of trying to take down Jake Sully and, you know, overtake the entire planet again. So it's a simple story, and it's like literally a cat and mouse. So they're trying to hunt him, trying to find him, and he has to seek refuge to the sea. And he has to seek refuge to the new Na'vi, the new types of people that which they haven't been accustomed to, meaning they haven't lived their way of life. So they have to adapt and learn and overcome. Honestly, I never would have thought that I would enjoy watching Smurf-like looking people on screen once again. I had to rewatch Avatar 1 because I didn't know if I remember exactly what happened. But when you watch the first film, you realize, even though it's 2 hours and 45 minutes, the runtime doesn't hit you, and it's just pure gold. The interaction between the human and the avatars is just beautiful, and it just works so well. Although looking back at it, the CGI just look a bit dated, you can still appreciate how well it was made, and James Cameron has pushed this film beyond what any other filmmaker could possibly do. Hence why I highly recommend you watch it in Dolby 3D. This is probably the best 3D I've ever seen. This is not a gimmick 3D where you just see a couple of things come into your face. This is pure 3D that you get to experience on screen. You have to watch it, and that's literally a high recommendation. It's going to be hard for some people to watch. That's going to be a given. It is over 3 hours long. If you're the type of person that likes to watch an hour and a half movie and just get on with your day, then I recommend you either watch this in parts, or you try to take the courage to sit down and watch the whole thing in one go. I don't even know if they got a director's cut for this film. It'd be insane if they did release a director's cut, because honestly, that 3 hours, it hit me first for the first viewing, but second viewing, I didn't feel it as much. But if director's cut is over 3 hours, we're in for a long ride. Bearing in mind, the first original Avatar film was about 2 hours and 45 minutes. Then they re-released the director's cut, which added 17 more minutes of footage that we have never seen before. So it hit 2.5 billion or something like that. So 2.5 billion in the box office. And then they re-released it in 2020, 2021, and 2022. They re-released it again and again, and it ended up hitting about $2.9 billion, or at least $2.9 billion in the box office, which overtook Avengers Endgame. And now it's the highest grossing film of all time. Avatar 2 is now on its run to hit at least 150 million in the opening weekend, which is ridiculous. And I don't know personally if it's going to hit that 2 billion mark, but it is going to be successful, and this film is just going to break all types of records, and I guarantee it's going to be recommended for all these awards in the upcoming year, especially for the Academy Award for VFX. It has to win the VFX. It will be impossible to not win the VFX. But yeah, I am glad that I watched this film in cinemas, because it's a cinema must experience. You have to see it in cinemas, or once you do, you won't regret it. Yeah, it's not much I can say about it, honestly. It's just a great film, and without me wanting to spoil too much of what happens in the movie, because this is just a normal review. But yeah, I'm glad I watched it, and I think that whoever else watches in cinemas will be very grateful to watch it and experience it exactly the way it's intended to, because this is an experience that you've never ever seen before. If you like the review, if you like the video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please let me know down below as well if you think the film was actually good, or you didn't like it, or you think I'm overhyping it. Just let me know. Let's have a discussion, and hopefully I get to see you in my next video.